Welcome to the Best Maui Chocolate Tour. This is going to be a review and kind of promo the Maui Kuia Estate Cacao Farm and Chocolate Tasting Tour. So this cacao farm and chocolate factory are located in Lahaina, so it's nearby a lot of the resorts and everything. The tour itself is 1.5 hours. It's really fun to do, and it's also quite educational. You'll start and end at the chocolate factory. They will shuttle you over to the cacao farm and the treehouse for the tasting, and then shuttle you back. The Maui Kuia Estate Chocolate Factory is actually the largest chocolate factory in the entire state of Hawaii, so that makes this tour, really fun. You don't actually go inside of the factory, but this is a window looking into it from like the lobby of where you go to check in for your tour. Before you load into the van, it's like a little sprinter van. They will spray your shoes with I'm assuming some sort of pesticide type thing, so that anything that is on your shoes doesn't contaminate anything that is on the farm. It works the same way if you've ever been to a cave, like a cave tour. They will do the same thing. They'll tell you not to wear any shoes that have ever been worn in a cave before, or they will just spray your shoes if you're like not sure or like just so here's a little bit of the view that you'll see from the sprinter van as you head out to the farm. It is just down the street. It's not a long trip at all. So the tour starts, they will take you across 20 acres of cacao trees, and you will learn the process of how cacao is grown from start to finish. And they'll also demonstrate their techniques for like harvesting the cacao and turning it into chocolate. So here's an example here they have on the table where they've kind of opened up the cacao and you can see what is there on the inside. And then once you're done going through the cacao farm, they will lead you to a treehouse that overlooks the ocean, and you will get a 9-piece chocolate tasting. They also give you some water so you can like cleanse your palate in between. But you can see here they have quite a combination. So you see like dark chocolate. Some of these are like fruit infused, like guava and mango. These these white ones are like a dark milk chocolate kind of combo. And you can also see some of them say grown and made in Maui, and others are like made in Maui, because this is kind of a newer farm. They've been around for a little while now, but relatively they're kind of new. So, the first handful made in Maui, but not necessarily grown, and now they can consistently do like grown and made in Maui. So again, the chocolates are a variety of milk and dark chocolate. They're not as bitter as like traditional dark chocolate would be. And then they also have, like I said, those fruit infused flavors, which are really nice. This is the treehouse where we did the tour. So you just see these steps that go up here, and you will be overlooking the ocean, and it's just a really nice view. Of all the pieces we tried, my favorite was the Kuia dark chocolate, specifically the one that says made in Maui. You can surprisingly taste the difference between the grown and made in Maui versus the regular made in Maui dark chocolate. A little bit different. The made in Maui dark chocolate was my favorite. Here's kind of what they look like. They're just little chocolate squares. Again, the bottle of water. They also have a little centerpiece as a trash can to put your wrappers away in case there's like a breeze that comes through or anything. The guide will take photos for your group with this backdrop, so you can see the neighboring islands. There's one here, and then there's one kind of off to the other side. We use this photo a ton for all of our content, so it was really nice to have someone that can take photos for us. But you can see kind of how they have different table setups all throughout. So like everyone just kind of like sits with their own group, and the guide will facilitate it. I do have a link here. This will go to Viator, where you can book the cacao farm and chocolate tasting all in one tour. They have a shorter one that is just the chocolate tasting without the cacao farm, but honestly, like it's worth the splurge to just kind of do like the full experience. And it's not much more of a splurge, but you might as well get, the full experience instead of just a tiny bit of the experience. After your tour, they'll take you back to the factory. They have a little kind of window case like at a bakery where you can get chocolate brownies. They do little baking chocolates. They had like coffee and maybe like hot chocolate or something like that. And just kind of little bakery dessert kind of things that are all pretty chocolate based that you can get for the road. You can also buy all of their regular chocolates too. They have all of that available. After our tour, we immediately went to go eat, because I think ours was at kind of like a funky time in the day where I think we had like a late lunch afterwards. So we went to this place called Miso Fat Sushi. It was actually featured on Dine-Ins, Drive-Ins, and Dives with Guy Fieri. But I have a link here to a post of our favorite restaurants on Maui to give you some ideas for where to go after your tour. Also, after this tour, we did the West Maui Coastline Driving Tour, which was a downloadable, like self-guided audio tour that it basically connects with your GPS and tells you where to go, but also like tells you stories along the way, and there's places for you to stop and stuff. So we made a whole day of it doing that kind of thing. Best place to stay on Maui. So when you go, I highly recommend the Kaanapali Beach Club. It is owned by Hilton Vacation Club, but you don't have to be a timeshare owner to stay here. You can book it like you would like any other hotel or resort on whatever platform you like to use. You could book through Hilton directly or any of the third-party ones. But what we like about staying here is that for the same price as a regular hotel room, you're getting a full kitchen, ocean view, jacuzzi tub, separate bathroom and living spaces, like all of those extra like amenities, like you have like like a little apartment instead of just a standard hotel room. This video here is a little bit of a resort tour plus a tour. We stayed in the deluxe ocean view suite, and this was our view from the bedroom. Some more fun things to do on Maui. We do have a full 6-day, 5-night itinerary that has this tour featured in it, as well as everything I'm about to mention below, so you can kind of see how to organize it into a like really jam-packed trip. For starters, Haleakala National Park, doing a sunrise tour here is really great. Ours was canceled, so we were there in February, and ours was canceled due to weather, so instead we drove ourselves up to the summit of Haleakala for a sunset on our last day before going back to the airport, because we took like the latest flight out, which didn't leave till like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So we had all day. Whale watching. February is peak whale watching season. Pack Whale Eco Adventures out of Ma'alea Harbor is a really great one. That's the one that we did, and we saw lots and lots of whales the whole time. Maui's finest luau. This is at Castaway Cafe. This list here just has like kind of all the top luau's in there, so you can kind of compare and contrast which one is best for you. And then I do have a post here on what to wear to a luau if you're unsure. As you can see, I'm wearing my current luau outfit that is in this photo. The Road to Hana full loop drive. A lot of people do Road to Hana and they just go to Hana and back, but it is actually a full loop that you can keep taking all the way around as long as the weather permits and roads aren't washed out and things like that. So I highly recommend doing that. This is the very famous black sand beach. That is really one of the big highlights of it. The West Maui Coastline Driving Tour is what I mentioned before that we did after doing this cacao farm and chocolate tasting tour. Here's one of the views from it. It's kind of like a half day afternoon type of thing. I really loved it. Maui Mini Golf. This place is right across from the whale watching harbor, so it's nice to do, before or after your whale watching tour. We did it before heading back to the airport because we had a full day, so we were able to fill up our extra time doing that. And here is their little volcano mini golf course. But overall, I highly recommend doing the cacao farm and chocolate tasting tour when you are on Maui. It's the largest chocolate factory in the entire state. And then for some more ideas for things to do, we have a list of best things to do on Maui. It's for couples, but honestly, anybody, even if you have kids, you could do most of the things on this list. But it was just kind of made with couples in mind, since my husband and I travel together and not usually with other people. Last thing is I do have this 5 things to do for free on Maui. So that way, the more free things you can find, you can splurge for other things like this tour, or you can splurge for a nicer place or nicer meals because you're finding free things to do, or just finding free things so that your trip can be affordable. So it just asks for your first name and email address, and then it'll just send you a little PDF download in your email. It's completely free, and it'll have lots of ideas for you. And that is everything I have for the best chocolate tour on Maui.